So in this time, like in school, had you already been involved like in entertainment events? Had you
No, I
started or
just
that
I
came
just
later?
loved entertainment, but I just loved being with happy people, you know. So any give me any reason to, I'll take it. Yeah. So the whole events, of course, now because of church, so I was always in the music, in the what. So it was really full of
And that's what your sister was singing?
yes.
Okay.
So pretty much the background was already there, you know. At home would make our small, you know, I would record. Actually, I still have those tapes. Now, because I didn't have money to buy the records, I would be on radio and tape. So I would go, look for a tape that I know for a fact they will not miss at home. Put it in the radio. And every time my song comes in, I record. Then I stop. So some songs would have adverts, especially of Capital, because that's the one that used to repeat songs. So you would tell, you'd be like, they definitely have to play this song in 1 hour. Let me wait for it. They play it, tip, stop, and wait. So I have like a bunch of tapes. I'm sure they're still there at my parents' house. A bunch of tapes that have songs. So I would tape. Then, of course, when we would be going to the village, of course, my parents are very good Christians, very good devoted Christians. So definitely the music is going to be gospel. So like for a couple of kilometers, you would let them shine. Then I'm like, I have my tape. Can you also put, we're in a Pajero and you're like at the back, in the boot. And you're like sending a message, like, you put for me my tape also and we're here. Then you keep listening and you're feeling so good and guys are like, what are you playing? What is that, But yeah, and then my dad used to tell my sister to sing. You would play music like ABBA, Kenny Rogers, and you tell her, now let's sing. So then she would sing, feel like a superstar. Then at some point she felt like she was the family doctor, family nurse, so she had her table, her medicine was stones, so she would go to the clinic, pick those peppers. So we all had our moments to see the nurse at home. And it was a must. If you don't, there's a problem. There's a problem. She's going to complain and they're going to tell you what's your problem. Why didn't you, what will you die? Then she'll tell you how you're feeling, what do you need, she prescribes, she writes down. I don't know why she never did medicine. Because she really made us suffer.
So you were diagnosed with so many different things, I can imagine.
But the medicine was the same.
Was the same for everything?
She tell you go, then after calls them and now bring it back, now call the other person to come. She pours it back in the can.
Those are some good memories.
It was interesting.
So after those 6 months at UCC, then what did you do?
Now,
because I know you worked for a television station in TV production for a while.
Yes, for a long time. Now that I started doing camera work.
Okay.
Actually, now I started working like payment in my senior one.
Now you see.
And I was a cameraman.
Okay.
For weddings.
Okay.
I really have no clue what I was doing. For the people I did weddings for, I apologize if the videos never came out well, but we are here.
Okay.
Yeah, so my mom was my booking agent.
Okay.
So me, I'm at school. She books, of course, her birthdays. Says, oh, my son will do your video, what. So I come, I go, hire out my camera, get the tapes there on Wilson Road, go do the wedding. Do the cutaways, what. I need to get back to that. Okay, now I'm getting married soon, but taping maids was a good thing in the salon. Anyway, moving on. So it was a good experience. So I would come back. I would have like maybe a wedding or a birthday party that I would.
You were being paid.
I was being paid.
Oh, okay.
My mom would put the money, post it in post bank. That's where my savings account was. So Yeah, like that. Then in senior, then of course, because being in church, as I pray from Miracle Center, Rubaga. So definitely, it was because I loved cameras. I entered the TV crew. So around 2005, they started the TV. They got TV equipment. So of course, my love for cameras, I went in, I started doing. So when they started the TV in 2009, they basically just got the camera guys from the church to now to the TV, which was a good thing because of the pastor's influence and friends. We got, I could say, first class training because we got training from guys from CNN, from TBN, DW, Desta. They were because of having been with them every time he went there and created a relationship with them.
Okay.
So they wanted to support his dream of putting up a TV. So they would send technicians, and it was really humbling. So having these guys that are big, especially when the guy of CNN came, oh man, we were not sleeping, like whoa. So it was a good, so it really polished us well, and we moved. It was slow, but we moved. So I worked there for quite some time. Then went from being a cameraman to a production manager to a program manager, and then I pulled out. So even the time I was at UCC, even the whole time I was in secondary, holiday I would be there. The time I was at campus, I was there. UCC, I was there. But I loved to serve in church. So I wanted to have something I would do in regards to a job where I was not constrained to time. You have to be at 8, you have to this. I wanted to be free. I was like, man, God, give me something I can do that can, Then like, but
That was
there's a
flexible.
family workshop. What are you doing? Then that's when even the whole Bachiga Nation thing came in. And then, yeah.
So how did Bachiga Nation happen?
I used to call myself Mr. Bachiga Nation at campus.
Oh, okay.
So guys used to call me Bachiga. It was okay, and I even made T-shirts. I would make,
Even back then.
I had my own T-shirt with I am Bachiga Nation. Actually, I still have it. Yeah. So this one time, I'm putting on one of the T-shirts that had Enturire board. Then below it, it had, if found, please return to Bachiga Nation. So I'm around Capital Shoppers, and I meet a gentleman, some old gentleman, quite mature. I could have been maybe in his late 60s, going 70s. So the name is what drew him. Like, oh, hold on, that's very interesting. Do you know Chiga? I'm like, yes. Like, hey, he greeted me. He's like, first hold on here, let me come. So he goes, picks his wife from the parking lot, comes back, he's like, look at this T-shirt. Says, please make us some T-shirts also. I'm like, okay. I got his number. I'm like, I'll make you a T-shirt. So I thought about it. I was like, now, will I just make T-shirts and just sell? As in, what should it be? So I thought, I was like, you know what, how about I actually take this thing much more serious? But taking you back, like in our childhood, every Christmas, every Easter, we have to go to the village for Christmas. So you drive miles and miles, and your dad will be telling you, oh, you see over there, that's someone called Angie. You're like, no, okay, you will know them. That's their home. You drive another many miles, you're like, oh, you see, that's their home. So, but I realized in Kampala, it was everyone for themselves. Everyone is in a gate.
Yeah.
If someone does not have a funeral or a traditional wedding, you would never know where they come from. So I always wanted something that would, try and keep our culture, especially like the Bachiga, because my parents moved from Kabale, my grandparents moved from Kabale to Kamwenje, that's Toro. So now my parents moved from Toro, they're in Kampala. Okay, I'm still in Kampala, but maybe I might end up in Asia. You know, I have a cousin in the US, but his kids can't speak the language. So I was like, what about if I created this platform? Yes, to have the t-shirts there for purposes of identification, but also to have that platform so that the Bachiga that have left Chigezi can meet the Bachiga that are from Chigezi. So we have a platform that puts us together. Because some of us may never go back,
Yeah.
you know,
True.
because of any reason. So that's how it comes into play. How I stuck with Bachiga Nation is we had, you know, those curtain boxes at home. So they would always have those scriptures and stickers and stuff. So there was this scripture, I don't remember the other word, but I know it was in Psalms, where it was like a righteous nation exalts, something like that. I'm sure we will find it somewhere, but I know it's there. So a righteous nation. So I checked what a nation was, just a group of people from one area, same language. But those are Bachiga. Yeah. So I was
Okay.
like, Bachiga Nation. Let's go.
And you rocked it.
I was like, let's do this. So, but I didn't have that direction,
Okay.
really, yeah, of how it would go. And like growing up, would get money. Every time we went to the village, would ask money for, they would give us money for offertory, but then we'll also ask money for pancakes to buy for kids in Sunday school. So I always felt that every time you went back to the village, you had to have something to give to the people in the village. Like it was, even when we were buying things for home, they'll tell you buy sweets, you buy what, because you have to give kids in the village, what, you know. So we
That's how
always
it
knew.
was. You had to buy the bread, you had to buy...
Yes, all these things. We would go with so many things. We'd buy like, but I need to find out of Hot Loaf, because there's so much money that we spent at Hot Loaf for Christmas.
Bread, sugar.
Would buy bread. Would buy like, I think a whole bag of bread we are taking to the village.
Yes.
As if people
And
in
as
the
you're
village
arriving,
don't-
you're kind of just...
Okay, we would eat it as well, but it was basically for the people in the village. So interestingly, I wanted that element to be part of it, because I was like, so after I sell the t-shirts, so I eat the money. I was like, but if the t-shirts are being bought by this Bachiga, I think what comes from it should be able to go back to the community. I think that will make more sense for them to buy.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, let's do it. I think that's possible. But there was no clear picture on how to do it. So I remember my first event was in a bar called Flames. It belonged to Gareth Onyango and Nikita. It was there in Bakuli. They had a nice, humble bar. So I do my thing, and someone calls me at about...
Previously on Crystal One-on-One.
I get confidence from a no, from resentment.
You have a nickname?
Yes. Growing up, I was called Kuchi Kuchi.
What? Growing up, you went to school in Lunguja.
I went to school at Lunguja Nursery School. Then after I went to St. Mary's Nabingo. But we came after my parents' divorce.
Okay.
And we started from the village.
So you said you met your husband at university.
We were in the same hostel.
Oh, okay.
So he was a few doors next to mine.
When you talked about, you were worried about your pregnancy because of the operation that you had,
Yes.
did you have any complications or you were fine completely?
I had
A C-section.
section, yeah.
I remember my first event was in a bar called Flames. It belonged to Gareth Onyango and Nikita. It was there in Bakuli. They had a nice, humble bar. So I do my thing, and someone calls me at about 5.
So you had like a few friends
Yeah.
come through?
Yeah, I told guys, oh, by the way, come. But I didn't want it to be in a bar, but I had nowhere else to go. Because I wanted a place where parents would come. So, of course, I didn't invite my parents. I didn't invite anyone because I was scared. You're going in a bar. So I couldn't tell anyone. So I wanted just my other friends, easy come through. So about 5, I actually just reached, I just bought the Nturire, I just unpacked the jerrycans from the car. So a gentleman calls me and is like, hey, are you at Flames? The bar is called Flames Bar. I had Flames? I'm like, yes. Like, hey, this is BRO, I'm coming. I'm like, okay. Now, prior to that, we were on the same WhatsApp group. So he had gotten involved in a small accident. So, of course, you wake up in the morning, you see messages. Hey, oh, sorry about the accident, what. So me, like, natural, like, off head as like, if someone, you may not know them, but if you're together because of something, if you're in the same space, it doesn't hurt if you call them.
You reach out.
Yeah, so I called him, I'm like, hey, Owen from the group, I heard you got an accident, are you okay? Is your car fine? Do you need any help? We have a workshop in case you need, we can be able, I could see how I could be able to help you. I'm like, hey, no, it's Kawa, it was not that bad, it's okay. So I'm like, okay, thanks, I was just checking, fine. That was the first and last phone call I ever made.
Okay.
So he calls me, he's like, I had Flames, this is BRO. I'm like, I'm here. He's like, I have a meeting at 6, but I just thought I would pass by to see your thing. I'm like, okay. So he comes in, we catch up, like we had not seen each other for like a million years, or like we had known each other for a long time. Then I got to know that he had had a few engagements with like my big brothers, like my big cousins, who actually gave him his first job after when he was in Kampala. So he's like, so Ambrose is your brother? Ambrose is interesting. Ambrose gave me my first job. I'm like, really? Yeah, he gave me my first job as a papa attendant there at Shell Mulago, what? I'm like, really? So we really hit it up. It's like, And the guy who had the meeting at 6, we both left at about 11. He was heading to Zone 7, I believe. I was heading to Legends. We had only taken Turide. We were all cooped by Kaunyem at different locations. And we all thought we had dodged it. And we all walked into it because we thought, we've not taken alcohol. So
Yes.
the moment we blew into it, they're like, wait, what have you been taking? We're like, Bushera, one of the guys where I was, he's like, have you taken to it? He's like, no, that is even worse than what I tried to explain to the guy. You see, it was just a cultural thing. But he's like, no.
Wasn't having it.
He wasn't having it. So, fast forward, so I sit down and draw the logo. Yeah, this. I actually drew it.
Oh.
So I was like, what are Bachiga known for? We are known to be cultivators. But because land, you always call it motherland, you believe we all come from a woman. So I was like, I would use a woman digging then. So I just drew a woman digging. I need to find my notebook because it's still there. Woman digging. So I shared it with my friend that were with my senior 5 and senior 6. Because I knew he was doing graphics design. So I called him, I'm like, oh, by the way, actually I texted him. I was like, oh, by the way, I have this idea, I don't know if you could do, I don't know. So I gave it to him, and he comes out with this.
Oh.
So it's well explained. This, the Kablu means the blue skies, the green means the vegetation, the orange is the sunlight.
The sun.
I was like, interesting. I felt nice. He charged me $100, which was fine. So he sent me, so I was very excited. Very, very excited. So I go to Zone 7. Now we had, of course, now started talking more regularly with BRO. So I go to Zone 7, I reach there, I'm like, yo, can you imagine, look at my logo. He saw the logo, he's like, what? You've done this? I'm like, yeah. He's like, at the time he was still fully with rock. He's like, what you've done now, we didn't do with rock until someone almost took our logo. So if you've done this now, as in he was very impressed, like, do you have a partner? I'm like, no, but I'm signing the forms on Monday. He's like, what is needed? I'm like, I guess it's money. So he's like, are you okay with me being your partner? I was like, no problem. He's like, call the lawyer. So I called the guy, like, Monday we sign off, come and pick money. And just like that, we became partners in
Okay.
Bachiga Nation. Then whatever it is that I had started getting a bit of direction because he had been in this space for quite some time. He had been into non-profit organization for some time. So he really kind of knew how to drive this thing. All I had was the vision of how it would go, but he knew how to get things done.
Okay.
So just like that, we had our first event at Zone 7 in 2016, Matters Day. I remember it was Matters Day, it was a Friday. And this is one thing that I appreciated about him. I think because of having been in that space for quite some time, he wanted me to be able to get the feel of actually trying to organize a festival on my own.
Okay. Okay.
So he only gave me, we only met in a parking lot like a week before the event and told me, okay, this is the map of zones. Who actually was done, he had just come from Rock, we were going to Zone 7. He just said, let's finish it now. We got a paper, went to the bonnet of his double cabin. He's like, this is how Zone 7 is. I think the stage is here, you shall put this here, you shall put this here. Yeah. I think that is good to go.
You do it.
I still have that cassette up. So I'm like, good. I didn't understand what he was doing.
Okay.
And then like the next day, I'm chatting him up. He's like, I'm in Kigali. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, I have a conference in Cape Town. I was like, and when do you return? Like, Thursday. I'm like, but you know, on Friday. He's like, let me know if there's anything you need. I was like, what do you need?
Baptism by fire.
So I know I pushed and it was a great success. He showed up that night, came to the venue on the day, and he just came to choose like, everything is in order. This is nice. And you know, from there now, of course, we didn't anticipate, we had planned for about 150 people. From my 30 big event at Flames of 30 people, and I was like, I think we can make 100. And I think we had about 1,200 people that showed up at Zone. It was a Friday. It's when Zone 7 stocks up their weekend stock, whether food or what. Everything ran out. The food ran out, the drinks ran out. Guys wanted to beat us. Why do you call us and there are no drinks? Yo, it
Learning
was
curve, right?
It was a huge, but I appreciated it. Then immediately it pushed us to go to a bigger space
Yes.
at Hilltop, which as well became very small. But the one thing that I appreciated was immediately after we hit that September, we went out and did a charity drive in Chigeze. We met the Grace Vera girls, very beautiful home that looks after vulnerable girls. It was very emotional for guys. We ended up having the guys we had gone with take up some kids for adoption. We also took up one that would support their eldest through school who graduated last year from university. Then there was a women's program. Then we did, there was another lady without limbs that we went to. Imagine we were told about this lady. She has no limbs, but does everything. So we're leaving, I packed my duvet. I remember I packed my duvet. I was like, I think I can give my duvet, my bed. This was work. I had no money. I was like, but this can work. So other guys got clothes and stuff. So we reached there, then we found that she actually had an autistic brother. So she's the brains, then he's the everything. So it was a very, very sad environment. So here we are, we brought beddings, and then the shocker was She's at the time she was 35, but she had never slept on a mattress
Her whole life.
her whole life. And we're like, okay, we're not ready for this. So we sent out for, we called, and she stays very far from the town. So even where we go up the hill, then we even left the customer and like walked for another like kilometer or two to reach our home. So we're like, wow. So of course we sent for a mattress. Now we're at a loss of words. So we asked her, like, what would she need? So the whole time we're meeting these other different groups, because Villa guys were breaking down still the hard guy here. So now we ask, okay, now what, like, to you now, as you now, what would you feel you would need? Like, what's your one wish? Then we expect that to say like a mattress or something, or like a bed. Then, like in a shy but proud way, she's like, if she could only see electricity. Yo, that floored me. That really floored me. I couldn't imagine that there was a person that was that old and had never seen electricity. It floored me. Then, of course, we organized for some solar. Then we kitted her up with some solar. Then, now we started to do a journey with her. Then we came back. Later on in December, we organized a kids party. So we went for the kids. We did a kids party with Grace Villa. We did them a Christmas party.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm not sure if they had done a Christmas party before, but I think after we suggested, they started doing Christmas parties every Christmas. So we're like, you know what we shall do? We shall give you guys a Christmas party every year. So that year we went in. We even had some friends that came in from South Africa. We went, spent the day with them, cooked for them, served them. It was really a very, very loving.
You know, that's what I was saying. It seemed like things were happening so fast.
Yes.
Because I remember hearing, I think, about your third event.
Yeah.
Or fourth event. Then I think there was like an aerial shot.
That
The
shot brought
question
us
everyone was
problems.
like, are there that many Bachiga in Kampala? What's
That shot brought us problems.
like the numbers and
That
then
shot
all
brought us
these
problems.
different things you were doing.
Yeah, and all the money was just, and that was just the first year after doing just one event, and we're not charging anyone. So it was basically money from us, the team.
And it was like
And
a cultural
Yeah,
celebration,
yeah.
really.
So it was quite interesting. So 2017 comes, then the BBC video of the kids in Bunyonyi goes viral. And somehow everyone feels it's the responsibility of Bachiga Nation. I couldn't believe how much such a small level of success would call for so much responsibility. I'm like, guys, there've been other people. We have guys in government that are from her area. Tag them. Why are you calling us out?
And recently you've been winning awards also, huh?
Yo, it was crazy. So, of course, we did the campaign, which we managed to pull together some stakeholders, and we managed to get about 1,000 life jackets for those kids in 2017. Then there was also there was a lady that was brought to our attention. Her child got a brain damage by suffocating in a car.